Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good. Okay, well, my name is Skylar Williams. I'm the representative here from Precoa today. And kind of just the overall goal of this meeting is to meet you, learn a little bit more about College Station Funeral Chapel, and just kind of explain to you how Precoa could potentially help kind of build your business for the present and for the future to come. So how has your day been today?
It's been good. I've been in a few meetings here and there, and just business as usual.
Yes, sounds about right. Well, kind of to give you a layout of how the meeting will look today, I'm going to first ask a few questions just to kind of gain a little bit more insight into College Station Funeral Chapel. I had a great meeting with Jamie yesterday, and he kind of explained a little bit about kind of the details of the business itself, but I want to hear it from your perspective as well, and kind of really dive down deeper. I have a few little points to make about Precoa as well, and then also we have a market analysis of this area and what we could potentially do for you. So I would love to be able to share that with you. So kind of to begin, I have a few questions if you don't mind me asking.
Sure.
Okay, so how long have you worked at Precoa? I mean, at College Station Funeral Chapel, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I'm fifth generation owner.
Wow.
So my dad owned, his dad owned, his dad owned all the way back. So, um, I mean, how long have I been working here? Kind of, you could say my whole life. But yeah, I mean, we've been in the community for over 60 years. So it's been, passed down through our family, and
That's great.
it's our baby.
That is great. I know the great thing about kind of how we function is we partner with funeral homes that are really established in the community like yours and kind of help take them to that next step and really diving down and looking at how we can innovate and grow in an industry that may not have grown in the past. And especially with kind of how times are changing, I think that it's great to really partner with established funeral homes like yourselves and really take them to the next level. So that's great. What would you say your biggest challenge is on like a day-to-day basis, whether it's kind of managing systems or kind of slow months, slow years, kind of what is your biggest challenge when looking at that?
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure, honestly, you being in the funeral business, you've seen this, but
Mhm.
people just don't care to have funerals anymore. They are, hey, I just want to have cremation. I don't want to service. I don't want to burden my family. I don't want to spend a lot of money. So that's, I mean, just as like a shift in the industry, we've just seen it be very hard to actually serve our families because they don't let us, spend the time that we need with them. And on that effect with the families, it affects their grieving process and their healing. On our end, cremation's cheaper, it's becoming more popular, and
Absolutely.
things are slowing down a bit. So, it's definitely been something that
Yeah.
has shown to be a challenge that we're trying our best to adjust to, but it is so new. So
Oh, I totally understand. And just kind of the way things have shifted here lately, too. I'm sure that it's definitely taking a toll on the business as well. But I do have an interesting statistic. So, kind of looking at our past research and past projects that we worked on, about 70% of people are open to the idea of maybe looking at and setting down and talking to someone about pre-need services, but actually 25% of them, less than 25% of them actually follow through and kind of make that first jump and really start looking into it. So, one thing that we found is that pre-need services are definitely on the rise, especially within competitive markets like this one. And really just looking at it, it's a great place to grow. That's a big percentage that you can kind of insert yourself to. So definitely, especially as things are slowly shifting and stuff, having that new innovation and really taking that first step and learning how to place yourself in that market is a great way for businesses like College Station Funeral Chapel to really take off and look at the next steps. So, okay.
mhm.
So how would you say you currently obtain new leads when looking at either at-need services or pre-need services? How would you say that you kind of reach out to those new people, marketing strategy wise?
I mean, majority word of mouth. Like I said, we've been here for a long time, so people know us.
Yeah.
We've served families, generationally. So that's great.
Mhm.
Um, has been a little bit of a problem in a way of, people being more mobile.
Yes.
They might not use us even though their parents used us or all that kind of stuff. But honestly, we haven't found a ton of success in marketing campaigns.
Okay.
So, we've tried them. Maybe it was on us. Maybe we didn't do them too well, but as
I'm
far as,
totally
go
understand.
ahead.
Oh, no, you go. Sorry.
Okay, I was just going to say, as far as generating leads,
Mhm.
we mainly just wait for people to call us, and then, ask for referrals, things like that. We're
Okay.
involved in the community so much that
Mhm.
people pretty much know who we are.
Okay. So recap, just kind of word of mouth marketing, kind of like referrals here and there, just like the brand name itself, just kind of taking the lead and kind of pushing
Mhm.
it through. Okay, perfect. And so do y'all have any sort of follow-up process with families that may have used you in the past, or any type of referral system, or is it just kind of word of mouth?
I mean, probably unofficially, like
Okay.
every year we hold remembrance services. So the families that we've served in that year, we invite them back to kind of honor their loved one in a Christmas service, because we know holidays can be hard. We have kind of like reunion events in that sense, that bring people, that kind of, keep
Mhm.
up that relationship even after we've done a service for somebody. So that kind of allows us, a big thing for us is just keeping up those relationships, and to be with the family through their entire cycle, not just the services and then moving on after that.
Yeah,
So
that's great. Percoa kind of also takes those new steps, and I will go into greater depth in a second, but to really develop those relationships and keep them going for years to come, because I know that you kind of touched on it too, how y'all are so well established in the community, but always trying to find new ways to serve your community and better position your business to market to those families who may need your services is definitely a great way to take that step and for business purposes, increase sales volume, but also just develop those relationships. Um,
mhm.
one last question. What is your current pre-need ratio to at-need sales ratio? I know Jamie kind of touched on it yesterday. He said that the majority of y'all's services were at need and kind of sales revenue wise, it was at need services, but do you have any other input on that, what it's currently sitting at about right now?
I don't have a specific number, but we don't we've never really put a ton of resources into pre-need. I mean, obviously we have the ability, we're partnered with an insurance company, all that kind of stuff. We
Okay.
have people that focus on that, but it's just kind of something that we've never really understood the importance of it. I mean, yeah, it's good to have, but I
Absolutely.
mean, we're so focused on at need that we've never
Mhm.
really paid attention to building it out.
Okay.
uh, so, I mean, I don't have specific numbers for you, but if I were to ballpark, maybe 80-20.
Okay. That's a good ballpark that we can work with. Okay. So, kind of looking at next steps in this call, I would love to show you a little bit more about kind of the services that Procoa offers. And then I would also like to touch on the market analysis a little bit. I'll go ahead and start with kind of the systems that we use to develop customer relationships. So, I'm going to share my screen real fast. So at Procoa, kind of how we start off this whole process is we really pride ourselves on the lead generation processes. And so doing this, we use a customized CRM system and a funeral planning center. And the two of these kind of combine and create a great environment for our sales representatives to go out and to the best of their ability, develop these relationships with customers that either they've known in the past that y'all have worked with in the past or that are new leads, and kind of really pride ourselves on getting a higher sales conversion and expanding into the pre-need environment. So one of the biggest ways that we try to do this is just to give our sales agents the training and preparation they need to go out in the industry. We both know that the funeral home industry or the funeral home industry is definitely a different environment than any other sales industry. You have to develop those relationships and establish yourself, which y'all have done a great job of doing, to be able to close sales and meet different sales revenues. It's not just a one meeting and done type of thing. You definitely have to know your customer and actually feel for them and genuinely have that care. So with using our customized CRM system, I know I talked to Jamie yesterday, y'all kind of use Excel, but this would allow you to kind of track trends within the community and track exactly what relationships you're building and the last appointment that you had with a family and how that went, because no one likes going into an appointment and then the sales agent not really understanding what happened in the past one. So using this really does give you a better insight into how to properly sell your funeral home services while still developing those relationships. And then the funeral planning center just kind of takes everything off of the sales agent, so he or she can really divert their focus onto the customer itself and not necessarily having to go through all the different processes. It really makes the sales appointment so much more valuable in the long run.
Hmm.
And then kind of looking at a customer testimonial that we found, Rich Darby, who's in a very similar boat to you, he actually had a very, very established funeral home in his location. And when he partnered with us, he actually saw a 132% pre-need sales increase, which is huge. He kind of stated that every day you're not with Procoa, you are losing money. So kind of looking at it in a sense of, yes, right now you're not necessarily losing money because you haven't really expanded into that atmosphere yet, but looking at some of the numbers that you can generate from expanding into this world of pre-need sales, it's almost endless the amount that you can make. And I can go into that in looking at the market analysis in a second, but the value of expanding into these services, and yes, it does come with a cost, is honestly unmet, and you can really grow your business to exponential levels. Do you have any questions about kind of the systems that we use before I move into the market analysis?
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious on that last slide of, saying like we're losing money if we're not with you guys. I've never really understood, like I said, kind of the importance of a pre-need program. I know that obviously, people want to pay for their stuff ahead of time. Yeah. It's beneficial to the family, but I mean, I've never really seen the benefit for the funeral home down the line. But obviously this man does. So is there something that I'm missing?
I can kind of explain it in a kind of a better, more business-like sense too. So when looking at it, the benefits of pre-need, you're not only securing your market and your sales revenue for the present, you're securing it for 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So especially with how volatile the world is right now and kind of looking at how industry trends are changing, especially in the funeral home industry, being able to say, I'm good right now, we're making it work, we're profitable now. Being able to say that you're profitable in 5 years versus 10 years and way into the future is huge in this industry. And especially with something that's established as yours. I mean, it's your baby. You said that in the beginning, and definitely taking that and being able to make sure that it will grow for years to come is so incredibly important. And just as kind of the world, like you kind of mentioned earlier, how people are moving off and they're not really staying in the same place, being able to secure that market share for years to come is definitely big. When competitors are entering in, people are moving all the time. That's kind of how we view it here at Procoa, and we try to take the steps to increase that. But also just another kind of quick statistic to throw in there, with our services, we see an average increase of 10% sales volume per year. So saying you have 50,000, or not 50,000, sorry, if you had 50 new clients per year, if you were to take that, we see about an average of $5,000 per new client per year. If you saw 50 new clients per year, you would see an average of $250,000 in extra income per year just by securing those pre-need sales now. So does that kind of clarify it a little bit more?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I understand. I guess I just never thought about that.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad I can answer that question. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and kind of do the market analysis to kind of give you a better fit of how this would help College Station Funeral Chapel specifically. Can you see that okay? Or do I need to zoom in any places?
No, it's great.
Okay, perfect. So kind of just, this is the marketing programs, which you kind of touched on earlier, how you said that kind of what y'all are relying on right now is word of mouth marketing, just kind of as you go, y'all have a really great brand awareness name and people know who you are. So these are just kind of different ways that we can help take College Station Funeral Chapel to the next level and ensure that it's growing for years to come. So kind of here at the top, it talks about funeral value generated versus overall marketing costs. So looking at it on a monthly level, So say you're spending about $4,000 in marketing costs with our services, you're generating $95,000 in funeral home value. So that's about a 4% difference. So you're putting in 4% and you're getting out $95,000, which is a great turnaround. Also looking at the pre-need at need ratio, our projected value for that would be 50-50. And that way you're really focusing, you're not changing too much on what you're doing now because obviously it's working for y'all, but being able to secure that market share for years to come is incredibly important in this industry. And then kind of looking towards the bottom, these are the different programs that we use. Kind of you can see at the very bottom, kind of the walk-in call-in / follow-ups. That's a little bit of what y'all are doing now. So we would take that to the next level and really push doing other programs as well. So we can get your work, get your brand name out there, really just focus on serving the customer to the best of our ability. And then looking at kind of the monthly funeral value by marketing program, direct mail is huge for us. It kind of is a little bit different than cold calling in the sense that it puts the customer back in control too. They see it and they kind of get a glimpse into what it maybe is. And then that way we can kind of take it from the next step if they do show interest in setting up these appointments, getting our sales agents into the field and really meeting with these clients who could potentially want to be interested in our services. Also, group presentations are a great way to kind of help them feel more comfortable that they're not all in this alone and that other people definitely are interested as well. And then just other different programs that we as Precoa really pride ourselves in trying to take these next steps and build a good marketing campaign to boost sales. But the big number I really wanted to point out is the number of leads generated. So this is at the bottom, looking at that totals column or totals row. So this is a monthly marketing breakdown. So say we're generating about 96 new leads per month. If you were to convert 30% of those into sales, that's an average of $144,000 more of income per month, just converting 30% of those new leads per sales. So finding those new leads is incredibly important when looking at how can we boost our sales revenue? How can we make sure that this business that we've had for so long is moving forward and not just staying stagnant in where we're at now? So that's a little bit of a breakdown. Do you have any questions about this that I can kind of help answer?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, like the numbers are the numbers, you know, we're losing money not being with you, but I worry about how this comes across to the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've spent a lot of years doing a lot of work building our reputation here, you know, making a good relationship with the families we serve. I worry that these marketing campaigns would cause people to feel like we're, you know, being salesy or taking advantage of them or just looking at them for the money aspect of it. And I'm that's a huge hesitation for me.
Yeah, that's a great concern. Definitely, we as Precoa as a company too don't want to put sales reps out there and have change the perception of the funeral home to be described as pushy. That's definitely not what we want to do as well. And we have fantastic training programs that kind of really highlight the importance of building relationships over making sales. So that's one thing we really pride ourselves on is having a higher sales conversion. And I think one of the greatest ways we can achieve that goal of having higher sales conversions is to really train our employees to serve the community and serve the clients and not necessarily just focus on closing the sales. And we do that through so many different programs. And I would love to sit down and maybe have another conversation with it about this and kind of really show you how these training programs work. But definitely that's not our goal as well. And we partner with you because we think that you have a great funeral home name and reputation, and we don't want to hinder that at all. That's not our goal. Does that kind of make you feel a little bit better in that sense?
Yeah, for sure. I that's my main concern is, you know, the relationship that we have with the community. So,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great concern because it shows that you really do care and value your clientele base. And I absolutely respect that 100%. And so I would love to sit down and show you a little bit more about how we can really train the employees and the sales reps to have more valuable calls and meetings and really just value the customer themselves. So
Yeah. I don't think I'm ready to, you know, move move away from what we already have quite yet, but
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would be interested in maybe fleshing it out a little bit more and gaining some more information.
Perfect. So do you want to set up maybe another call for next week? Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, perfect. How does Wednesday sound? Wednesday afternoon?
I think I'm available.
Perfect. Okay, I will send a follow-up email now. I'll go ahead and attach that market analysis kind of report just so you have a
All
better
right, I
idea.
gotta stop you there.
Perfect.